Good morning. Welcome to Randy's Corner, and I'm your host, Randy Clark. And as y'all can see, it's the holiday season and it's Christmas time. Chris does a wonderful job around the studio here, and I also say he's a pretty good decorator too. My special guest this morning, Mr. David Harris, and David has Music Works, and we're here to talk about some Christmas stuff, and we're going to talk about the CD. But first of all, let's talk about David Harris and his family. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you, Randy, and it's great to be here.
That's great. We've kind of known each other since about knee high.
That's right. I think first grade we went to school together and stayed together 12 whole years.
That's right. So, Music Works. Tell us all about your new studio.
Randy, several years ago, because I've been in the music industry for over 50 years now, and as I got older and the going out on the road playing and everything got less interesting because of picking up the heavy equipment and this kind of stuff, I gravitated toward recording, and I worked in some studios in Birmingham and down in Mobile and some other places, and I always wanted to have my own studio. Yeah. About 7, 8 years ago, I bought some recording equipment and did a little bit of recording in our old auto shop out there, what used to be Harris Auto Sales, which is Harris Storage Solutions now. And I turned that into the practice house for our band, The Click, and we would do some recording for demos and whatever, but never got real serious about it. And then 3 years ago, when I retired from construction, I decided I was going to build the real deal, a big recording studio that was designed to handle not only audio recording, but also videos, to do demos for groups, to do artist development, CDs for whether it's a country group, whether it's a gospel group, whatever the needs of this area and outside of this area. We've actually have got some people scheduled early next year coming out of the Nashville area that's going to be doing some recording demos of their original material.
Right. So, Dave, let's back up just a minute. Talking about the bands you've been in over the years. I've been following you. You was even playing when we was in high school. You've been, you're an amazing musical talent. And matter of fact, your whole family, your wife. Let's talk about Mandy for just a minute.
Well, we can do that.
Okay.
Mandy and I met in Mobile. I actually walked into her dad's restaurant, which he was a musician, a songwriter and singer, very good, very talented. Her whole family, her sisters sing. And I'd walked in to try to get some work for one of the groups I was in down in Mobile at the time. And she was on stage singing. And of course, Randolph, her dad, wasn't there. And I sit there, and it's a seafood restaurant, and great food, and ordered some shrimp and sit there and eat and just listen to her. Well, when she took a break, she come over and talked to me, and I told her what I was interested in and told her about the group and asked when her dad would be back. She said, well, she didn't know, but really wasn't hiring bands at the time. They were mostly just the family was just singing in the restaurant, and asked me where our band was playing, and we were playing over on Eastern Shore at a club over there. And I think this was like a Wednesday or Thursday night. Well, on Saturday night, in walks Mandy.
Okay.
And we talked more and actually became really good friends, and it just blossomed from there, and a beautiful friendship turned into a beautiful relationship. And next month we'll celebrate 30 years of marriage.
30 years ago.
30 years next
That's right.
year.
That's right.
And of course, when I heard her sing, I gave up any hopes of ever being able to sing in public again, because if anybody's ever heard Mandy sing, they know how beautiful her voice.
She got a beautiful voice and a beautiful lady, and just as sweet as she can be. Y'all are a great family. Would you like to mention some of the rest of the family? We'll talk about the picture on the CD here in a few minutes.
Like I said, her sisters would sing with her. Renee is, her older sister is out in Texas now. Of course, and Jody is down in Orlando, and of course, they're not singing any right now. Mandy hasn't been doing a lot of singing lately, but she's really gotten interested in the studio more, and we're going to be doing the CD for her next year. Hadn't decided exactly what it's going to entail yet, but we're going to do that. As far as the rest of the family, I've got a son who lives in Birmingham that's in business, got 5 grandkids. It's so wonderful, wonderful life right now as a grandparent, as semi-retired, and enjoying what I've done most of my life, which is play music or be involved in music.
That's right. You know, David, before we get to talking about this wonderful CD, you was talking about what it takes to put a band together. The stuff, you know, when I come and watch you, I come and see you on stage. Well, people like myself and people in the audience, they really don't see what it takes for y'all to get up on stage. There's a lot of stuff that goes into putting a band.
Randy, you know, there is to a certain extent, but the older you get and more experience you get, the easier it is to do because you know it just comes more natural. Just like a person that plays football, every time he gets out on the field, he don't have to relearn how to throw the ball. And there's so much about it that's just repetition. But in the early years, it was very difficult. But to put together a good professional group that gets out there and satisfies the people, first of all, you got to know your audience. You got to know who you're playing to, and know what they want to hear.
Right.
And then harmonies. Putting the music together is one thing, but to sing harmonies and get the vocals where they just are just melodic and everybody sits back and thinks, wow, that's just awesome. That takes a lot of rehearsal because the timing has to be exact.
Right.
So putting a band together, and then you're talking about 4 or 5 different personalities, and it's not like you're working at a mill or something. No, these are artists. And artists have got their own personalities, and sometimes it's difficult to get along because everybody has their own opinion of how things ought to
Understood.
be.
Yeah.
So you work together, and the more professional you are, you know, you're considerate of the other. And when all those things gel and come together, then you end up with a good band that people enjoy to listen to. And fortunately, through the years, I've been in several good bands. When Mandy and I moved back to Sylacauga, we connected with some of my old band buddies from when I was younger. David Edwards, who is no longer with us, and Tommy Brown, and Bobby Dodson. Bobby's gone now. Mike Welch. So many different musicians that I'd worked with before I left Sylacauga back in my younger days, and we put together the Clique, and it was just like old days. It was just so much fun. And we started traveling all over the Southeast on weekends. We would be in North Alabama on Friday night playing a private party and playing a Mardi Gras ball Saturday night in Pensacola.
Right.
And we did this for years.
Right.
And work all week and then jump in the van and take off and just be gone all weekend long. And it was fun. Made a lot of good money. We'd always pay for our Christmases and a lot of other stuff out of band money. And it was very enjoyable, but as we got older, picking up all that heavy equipment got more difficult.
Takes a toll on you, don't it?
And we had kids coming up, you know, that we had to be home for on weekends, and so that kind of stuff, you have to take responsibility of your family, and so we sort of laid it to the side for several years, and then after the kids were grown and on their own, we put together, the same guys put together Dodson Parkway. And the reason we called it Dodson Parkway, a lot of people from this area will remember Bobby Dodson. He was a fantastic guitar player, loved by everybody in this area, and we lost him early, and we named the band Dodson Parkway in his honor.
Right. So, let's talk about this special CD y'all got out. First of all, I'd like to ask you, how did this come about, Dave?
A couple of years ago, when I still had just an empty building with a little bit of recording equipment in it, I had the thoughts, of course, like I say, Mandy and I we're big dog people. We've had 3 Dobermans that actually stayed in the house with us. They go out at night, and then now we've got a golden doodle that stays in Stark.
You baby.
Yeah, he is. And I'm going to tell you, Randy, now, you know, people say what they want to, but sometimes dogs are a whole lot easier than kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, they'll just go lay in the corner and leave you alone, or they may not. But anyway, you don't have to take them to ball games. You're not buying them ice creams. It's, you know, you don't have to put $100 sneakers on them. But Mandy tries sometimes. But anyway, I had this idea because of our love for dogs and animals to do a CD that would be at Christmas time, and I didn't have the name at the time, but at Christmas time, and use local artists to sing on it, and let the profits go to the animal shelter. Well, it stayed in my mind, but I never did act on it. And when I decided to build this studio, I told Manny, I said, well, one of my first projects, once we get the bugs worked out and we know that we can put together a good CD that's quality and people will love, it's going to follow through with this project. So when I decided to get started on it, which was back in August, and that's hard. You think about August and start thinking about Christmas. Sometimes that's just a hard thing to do. But I've been celebrating Christmas ever since August.
That's right. That's right.
But I put the word out there, and for artists, local people that would want to sing on it. And we just, it's amazing at the artists, the young people that came out that I would have thought would have never wanted to sing a Christmas song, but they did. And we brought them into the studio, and we would record their vocals along with the music, and it really turned out really good, and we're real happy with it, and it's out. Here's a picture of it right here,
there you go.
which is called Sylacauga Sings Christmas, and that's our baby right there. That's Star.
Yeah.
And y'all think, well, wow, how did y'all make him be so still? There's this thing called shutter speed where you go snap, 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 and this was him moving, and we caught this one. But anyway, so we put him on the cover, and actually in the background, people may not realize it, but this piece of marble that Sylacauga Sings Christmas 2024 written on is a picture of a piece of marble from Sylacauga. So we tried to make it all about Sylacauga.
Right. And it is.
And it absolutely is. And the songs, we let the artists pick the songs that they wanted to do. Some of them picked songs that were already picked, and they had to go to their second choice. But it's just turned out fantastic. And the quality, even though it's my studio, I personally got over 140 hours in the control room on this, just getting everything just right and making it so that the people of Sylacauga would have something to be proud of and could listen to during the Christmas time and say, hey, I know this person, he's a friend of mine, and also know that their money is going toward helping the animal shelter and everything. All these people are either from Sylacauga, Childersburg, Fayetteville, Weguffco, or have moved here in the past few years or so. And it's a fantastic CD. You will love it. And like Randy said, this is all going to the animal shelter. So CDs are available in several different locations. We've got Sylacauga Chamber of Commerce. We've got King's Pawn Shop, Marble City Pharmacy, Fed Up, which is a new business in Sylacauga, and they're doing a great job. Trail Wares, which is right down the street. And now in Childersburg, we have Bama Ware and Fair to Midland. So these are the locations right now that you can get the CD, or you can call me and I can meet you. You can come out to Harris Storage Solutions and pick one up there.
Okay. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Don't forget, pick up this CD. If you're from Sylacauga, or you have a family that's moved away from Sylacauga, what a Christmas present this could be to give to somebody.
We've actually do mailing, so if you've got somebody that you want to send the Christmas CD to out of town, if you'll just get with me, get me an address. You don't even have to come by. We can take PayPal, we can do credit card, whatever you want to do, and I'll take care of the mailing for you.
Thank you so much for coming in, Dave. David Harris, Harris Solutions, Music Works. You've got so many titles, I really don't have enough time to say them all, but you've been a good friend to me over the years, so Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Randy.
All right, we'll see you next time.